All right, let's dive into a situation that can be, well, a real headache for a lot of folks. You're turning 65, which means Medicare is on the horizon, but your spouse is still working and you're covered under their employer's plan. It can feel like you're caught between two different worlds. So today we're going to clear up all that confusion and map out the best path forward for you.
This is such a common crossroads, and honestly, it's easy to feel a little lost. You know you're eligible for Medicare, but you're also on a plan you know and are comfortable with. You're probably asking yourself, do I have to sign up? Can I just stay put on my spouse's plan? What on earth is the right move here? Let's break it all down step by step.
And it's not just about the confusion. The stakes here are really, really high. Making the wrong choice isn't something you can just fix next year. It can actually lock you into permanent, lifelong late enrollment penalties. That's money you'll be paying forever. So our goal today is simple. Give you the clarity you need to completely avoid that.
So where do we even begin? Well, it all comes down to one single critical question. How big is the company your spouse works for? Believe it or not, this one little detail determines absolutely everything that comes next. This right here is the foundation for everything. If your spouse's employer has fewer than 20 employees, Medicare is your primary insurance. It pays the bills first, and the employer plan is just the backup. But if the company has 20 or more employees, the roles are completely flipped. Now, the employer plan pays first, and Medicare becomes your secondary coverage. This distinction is the absolute key to making all your other decisions correctly.
Okay, so let's focus on that first scenario we talked about, where Medicare is your primary insurer. The big question then becomes, can you, and maybe more importantly, should you, use that employer plan as a secondary, sort of wraparound coverage? And the answer is, well, it depends. It really all comes down to the specific rules of that employer's plan. You'll find that most large group plans are set up for this kind of coordination, but a lot of the smaller ones just aren't. So your very first step should always be to just check with the plan administrator. So let's say you can use it. What are the trade-offs? Well, on the plus side, it can definitely lower your out-of-pocket costs and let you keep seeing all your current doctors, which is great. But on the downside, you could be paying some pretty high premiums for a family plan when you only really need individual coverage. And here's a really big one to watch out for. Some employer plans will actually cut off your prescription drug coverage the very moment you enroll in Medicare. Yeah, that last point about drug coverage is so crucial, it deserves its own section. Prescription drugs have their own unique set of rules that you absolutely cannot afford to ignore. The most important word you're going to hear in this section is creditable. Just think of it as a quality standard. If the drug coverage from your spouse's job is considered at least as good as a standard Medicare Part D plan, it's called creditable coverage, and you need to get confirmation of this, preferably in writing, directly from the employer's plan. Now, if the plan is creditable, you've got options, which is great. You can just stick with the employer's drug plan and put off enrolling in Part D without any penalty. Or you could enroll in a Part D plan anyway, and then see if the employer plan is willing to coordinate and act as a secondary payer. And this is exactly why finding out that credible status is so important. Because if the coverage is not credible, the choice is basically made for you. You must enroll in a Medicare Part D plan during your initial enrollment period. If you don't, you're going to face those permanent late enrollment penalties we talked about earlier. There's really no gray area here. It's a must-do. Okay, so we've got the rules down for how these plans work together, but what does that actually mean for your wallet? How does it translate to your real out-of-pocket costs? Let's talk money. So when you're on original Medicare, your costs come in a few different forms. For Part A, your hospital insurance, there's a deductible for each hospital stay. For Part B, your medical insurance, there's an annual deductible, and then, and this is the part to really pay attention to, you pay 20% of the cost for most services after that. And of course, Part D, for drugs, has its own set of costs too. And here is the most crucial point about costs. That 20% you pay for Part B services, it never stops. There's no cap. Think about it. A $100,000 cancer treatment means your 20% share is $20,000. $1 million surgery, your share is $200,000. Original Medicare has no safety net, no annual limit on what you could be forced to pay. And that is why having some kind of secondary coverage is absolutely vital for most people. Okay, we've covered a lot. With all of that in mind, how in the world do you actually choose the best path forward for your specific situation? Let's bring it all together. As we've seen, this is no small decision.
Sticking with an expensive employer plan when a better Medicare option exists could literally cost you thousands of dollars a year in wasted premiums. But on the other hand, dropping that plan without fully understanding your potential Medicare costs could expose you to massive, unexpected medical bills. It's all about doing a careful comparison.
So here's exactly what you need to put side by side. First, the cost. What are the monthly premiums for the employer plan versus getting your own Medigap plan, which helps cover those 20% gaps, and a Part D plan? Second, the coverage. Compare the deductibles and the total out-of-pocket risk. And finally, you have to look at the overall value. Would an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan maybe be a better fit for you? Look, it is a lot to analyze. Every single person's health and financial situation is unique. Trying to run all these numbers and really understand the fine print of each and every option can be completely overwhelming. But it is just too important to leave to guesswork. And if you'd like a hand with all this, that's exactly what we're here for. At the Annuity Expert, we can help you compare all of your Medicare enrollment options to find the perfect fit for you. We'll walk you through all the costs and all the benefits, whether that's staying on your spouse's plan or building your own coverage with a Medigap or an Advantage plan. And our guidance, our services, they're always completely free to you. Just give us a call at 770-755-1565, or you can visit us online at annuityexpertadvice.com. Thanks so much for your time today.